said, "What are you here for?" And she says, "My 4-month-old has cancer."
Oh my gosh.
And she was holding this tiny 4-month-old little baby girl. And so I talked to her, and we just talked a little bit, and my wife and I were expecting a baby at that time. We had just found out. I guess that was actually early 1998, like January of '98. And so I took a picture with this baby, and who had leukemia. And I never knew what had happened to this little girl. I took the picture. Years go by. Last year, I'm in Orlando, Florida, and this little girl walks up to me, and she was the most beautiful little girl. She walks up, she goes, "Do you remember me?" And I looked at her, and I was like, "No, baby, where do I know you from?" She goes, "I met you a long time ago." And her mother comes walking up, and her mother is just bawling.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she had an 8
wow.
by 10 picture of me and this little girl from St. Jude, who had been in remission from her cancer for 7 years.
Wow.
And and so that's the kind of work that these people do. Back in the 60s, if a child had leukemia,
Right.
they had a 5% chance of living. So that means they had a 95% chance of dying. But now, because of St. Jude and the great work that they've done and their research to fight these cancers, if a child is diagnosed with leukemia now, they have a 96% chance of living.
Yeah.
They have flip-flopped the odds all the way around.
That's amazing.
So
yeah.
if you find out that you have leukemia as a childhood leukemia, you have a 4% chance of dying as opposed to a 95%
Much
chance.
better odds.
And and that is just
that's a
one
neat
of the
story.
coolest. It's one of the coolest things to get to be involved with.
Yeah.
To just know that your money's going somewhere good. Because God forbid anybody ever need it from this area. You go to a hospital, what's the first thing you do? You walk in and you start filling out the insurance papers, and you give them your credit card and your house payment note, and guess what? But if you don't pay your bills, now they get your house.
Yeah.
But that's not the deal there.
Right.
You go in, and they don't care if you pay. Their main focus is to make your child better.
Right.
And that is, as a parent, that's all you can ask for, man. That's amazing.
Man, if you